This is JordanTower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Let's get right into the news. Well, Melyssa Ford insinuates she has Charlemagne, of course, on her podcast, and she talks about, she didn't feel like she was in a safe space in a past job, and like everybody was misogynistic on this job she was at. She's talking about, obviously, Joe Budden podcast, and she didn't feel safe and protected and blah, 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 blah. Okay. Listen, this is going to happen to Joe Budden over and over again if he doesn't tighten up these contracts where there's a no competition clause, where you can't go off and do your own podcast unless it's under the Joe Budden network. Because there's no way she should be able to go start her own podcast off the motion of the Joe Budden podcast. And that's exactly what happened. And I would be tight if that happened. In fact, there should be repercussions for that. This isn't like a lot of money's invested in this kind of stuff. This isn't back in the days when we're doing DVDs and all that kind of stuff. Like, you give someone some motion right now, there's no risk. You don't want to have this risk of there has to be penalties for someone taking your emotion, borrowing it, and going to the next step. You got to protect it at all costs. The Rory and Mal thing was different. They kind of started with him. They were on the first 10 ones ever filmed. Maybe even if it's a guest. I think Mal was a guest at first or something, or Rory was a guest. I don't know. But anyways, they became a team, and they got their deals as a team. Joe Budden decided to be a little funny in the business, but they also wanted too much. It was just a bad. That's what happens when money and opportunities come in when you started with like making nothing. People get, I'm owed this, I'm owed that, and it's always hard to have a clear line in the sand when you're starting something. But in this case, Melyssa Ford was. Honestly, it was over. Like Jason Lee doesn't mess with her, and he started her on his podcast. Got rid of her a long time ago. Then she bounced around for a while. Joe Budden decided to pick her up, and I knew this would happen because this is how she plays. She did this with Jason Lee. She does this with everybody. She did this with the music business when all these girls. See, now is a different time, okay? But pre-2012, I'd say, like pre-2012. Girls wanted to be at music videos. Girls wanted to be around rappers and people making the videos and producers. And now it's misogynistic and taking advantage. I'm sure that, that did happen back then. There was these photographers that would pretend they're photographers and all that kind of stuff. But I'm just saying, she really victimizes the whole thing when she's in videos with Cisco and everything after hours, not during the music video. And acting like she's about to get it on with Cisco. We've all seen that footage. There's plenty of footage with Melyssa Ford and plenty of other girls like that. I'm not saying she's like loose or anything. I'm just saying it was like, entertainment time, And the whole game thing really messed her head up when, he says Melyssa Ford drives a Honda Accord. But it was also, I'd say it's also like a big up. Because like, I'm sure Game did that because she turned him down, right? First of all. Second of all, you were one of the vixens. You were one of the main ones. There's only a few that were memorable, and she was one of them. But now she's, painting Joe Budden a certain way, and, it's just, that's going to keep happening to Joe Budden. So Joe Budden reacts and says, well, there you have it. That's what happened. That's why she wasn't on the podcast, There's friction. So Tekashi did an interview with No Jumper, and he basically lays out here that, hey, Jim Jones, yes, he was on the wiretaps because that got brought up. Jim Jones basically was on these wiretaps and never got picked up. And he's the only one that didn't get picked up. But in many other wiretap cases, both people that are on the wiretap calling the shot, which is Jim Jones and Mel Matrix, they said he's got to get super violated. Jim Jones should have been picked up immediately. So that leaves curiosity that why wasn't he picked up? It puts questions out there that like, and then you have 50 Cent always painting him as what is it, informant one or something like that. And listen, it's weird, you know? Now, Jim Jones just has a lot going on right now. The Bloods don't really, Mel Matrix, we saw how he came home. He had to get on the bus, bro, in the train. You do not have to get on the bus and the train. I promise you, okay? You can get picked up at the gate, and you got to report to a halfway house by a certain time. I have friends that have come out of the feds before, okay? This is absolutely, you get picked up. You can get picked up. If you don't have anyone to pick you up, you take the train or the bus. They did him dirty, bro. And I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, come on. Even Cardi B has Star Brim picked up in a Sprinter. Remember? Come on, man. Then we had Shotti getting exposed for trying to write to Tekashi and saying he was wrong. And, he wants to make good on everything. And he's sorry. Because he violated Tekashi. He slept with his girl. He tried to he was in on the kidnapping thing. All this other stuff. So they were trying to keep Tekashi in line instead of just working with him and building something with him. And that was a violation in itself, So Shotti realizes he was wrong. Then we got Wu Kid. He showed up at Max B's thing. Aviani obviously gifted him a jewelry. Max B's having a good first week home. He's really got to drop music though, like ASAP. Got to drop a single this week. I'm expecting like by Friday, you got to have a first week out. Something's got to drop this weekend. You can't come out going to a Jets game doing this. Like, you either get to work or you get forgotten. That's the truth. Movado in Jamaica handing out stuff, getting emotional. I mean, it's emotional. People lost everything. He's handing out care packages. Spice is out there handing out building materials. Popcorn's handing out packages. Vibes Cartel donated. Tyrese is out there acting like it's a movie. He showed up on donations, not with his own money. He showed up on a jet out of a donation, this foundation, and also Mona Scott's a part of it too. They both showed up on a jet, and they brought some supplies on the jet. And mind you, this is not Tyrese's money or jet, okay? Maybe he contributed a little bit, but not enough to get the gas or anything. Probably, a little bit of supplies, right? A grocery trip. This was a lot of donations from a big foundation. Tyrese showed up, and he thinks he's in a movie. He's bowing down to the people when he gets off the plane. He's dancing with the people in the resort. Then he goes out to the disaster area, and people were trying to talk to him, and he's just looking off into the sky and worried about the shots people are getting of him, panning around. And he has security, and that's it. I mean, it's just like, bro, this is not a photo op. These people really need help. So I think that's nasty work. It's nice to be there and bring attention to it, but nobody needs anybody to bring more attention to it. The whole world is coming out for Jamaica, okay? You got many countries sending aid, sending workers, sending trucks to fix the grid. There's a lot of people already donating. It's not a forgotten country, okay? People are going to step in and help, and they are. Antonio Brown has been returned to Miami to face second-degree attempt murder charge. I think that this charge will get lessened, but, he does have to face this. And then Ja Rule says the beef between him and 50 Cent messed up New York hip-hop. It separated a lot of people in New York. And he says nothing good comes out of beef in this. Well, then why were you beefing with DMX, Jay-Z? Why did you start the beef with 50 with Irv? You are the problem, Ja Rule. So shut up later. But just because things didn't go your way when you were beefing with people, now beef isn't good for hip-hop. I just strongly dislike people that act like that. Ja Rule is always going to be legendary for what he did with Irv Gotti. Always. Those are classic records. And Ja Rule's always going to be entertaining. He lived during a time that people want to hear about and everything. But these comments, specifically, are It's like, bro, you were the problem. 50 just got the better of you, and so did DMX, and so did Jay-Z, you know? So, listen, I'm not taking anything away from his career or the music he created at that time. The music now is, but back then, classic, all right? So I don't think I'm, like, bashing Ja Rule. You know, he had his moments. He made a lot of great records, and very versatile. Anyways, this is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. I'll check you guys in the next one. Hope you guys are having a great day. And we'll see what's to come for the rest of the week. I got another news story to do before I go to sleep, but I appreciate you all. And if you want to run ads on the channel, it's jordantowermedia@gmail.com. Peace.